I know it's late, unless you're watching this in the morning, but it was like so obvious tonight. I realized that I'm watching, I did the Seven Mountains thing, and I'm saying politics, government, it's like Tolkien's, one ring to rule them all. If they can get a hold of the executive office, get Trump out of their way, the whole flipping globalist agenda, this whole map behind me is like the China and the entire belt that goes up to the EU and Europe is now, if you see these horrifying videos that are revealing the Davos strategy, which is like this one world economy, one world government, with a global reset following the COVID situation. You've got the president of Turkey, Istanbul, as part of the Silk Road going all the way through. I mean, it's like the end time scenario. And if you get the big picture, it's geopolitical and economic, you see the one force standing in their way is the United States. But the United States, you can see, is already sucked into the vortex of communist Marxist ideology with revolution, Maoist revolutionaries. The crazy thing is, the roots of Black Lives Matter, which is like sacred and nobody could talk against, its roots go right to the Marxist theology. Marxist is theology, and the Marxist philosophy, which produces Marxist ideology, which produces, and I'm saying, a Marxist discipleship movement. It's a counterfeit for what Christ wanted, which was the gospel to go to nations and the kingdom to manifest a better life. You'll never see a better life than the one you got right now. What these people are doing in the United States is destroying the greatest, freest, most prosperous nation in the world because they don't know any better. They've not been down. For all their education, they've not been down in Sierra Leone, in the heart of Africa. They haven't been in the poverty of India. Not as a missionary, not as somebody that can appreciate what poverty is. But here's my point. There's a game going on now. Donald Trump is the one thing standing in their way. And in the name of Jesus, Donald Trump will stay in their way. Have the Lord really speak to me today. So I'm listening to data, facts. How can Trump possibly win? The whole media, I mean, how could this guy possibly win unless God intervenes? But then you got Christians. We're so weak and so spineless, and worse yet, unclear. The leadership is unclear. They're afraid of offending the culture. So take an act of God. And today I was saying, well, people were asking, Lance, what do you think? And I was picking up on the reality of the situation, saying, man, it would be dangerous if we lose the Senate and the Oval Office. And when the conversation was over, I really felt like the Lord was not pleased. It's just one of those internal senses you have. It's that you can tell, when a lot of times the Lord doesn't respond at all because we're not saying anything that profound. But sometimes when you have a calling, an assignment, an anointing, and you don't honor what God gave you, you'll feel the quenching, a grieving of the spirit. Only a Christian can understand this phenomenon of a grieving. It's down here in your midsection. I knew right away. It was as though the Lord had to say to me, are you in agreement with me or not? You see, thy will be done. Thy kingdom come. Let your will be done on earth as God has a will for America. And what you're seeing now is not God's will for America. It's Satan's will for America. And the Lord said, are you going to be in agreement with this? Heaven on earth is what God wants. Your job is to contend with hell so that hell doesn't get its way. All right. So, it's so useless doing a broadcast like this at 2 in the morning. Who the heck is up at 2 in the morning? You guys like insomniacs or something? So anyway, but I get fired up. Dude, I should not watch the Laura Ingraham or Tucker is just I get too wound up. I shouldn't even watch this. I know better. But I'm telling you right now, I got it. These kids have been trained in the schools. What did Jesus tell the Pharisees? He said, you make your disciples a twofold child of hell. I mean, that's what you got now, is you've got the fruit of the American academic system in the universities that are manifesting now. But then you've got the elites, it's going to be your Harvards and Yales, and your Dukes, but they've already been infiltrated by the left in terms of the ideology, like a cult. So they've moved on into their jobs at Vox and blah, 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 and they're up there at Wall Street, and so they're all doing their social justice deal now with their cultural Marxist ideology and intersectionality and blah blah blah. And so you got nuttiness coming out of these top-tier schools going into the elite system. Now, I'm telling you something. The education mountain, now that I'm looking at it, is the most decisive of the ultimate conquest, I know, is the power mountain of government, because that's where you can weaponize legislation and go to the Supreme Court. You could really clamp down and put the intimidation machine on the street like goose stepping. The media is the false prophet that has to create the climate of lies and deception that create the inclination and the receptivity to the counterfeit messiahs that promise you utopia while they're delivering chains. But the media and the political couldn't do a bloody thing if those little boys and girls weren't turned into weaponized machines by that little finger that gets into the ear called teaching. So I'm telling you, I'm just watching this tonight with Laura Ingram. You know how this stuff works. If you're a Christian, you have these meaningful coincidences. I'm watching them, and they're talking about leftist school administrators punishing parents, intimidating parents, and taking over your kids' indoctrination in elementary school, in high school, in junior high, with a curriculum that is completely left whack, and like a cult. And then I go over to, I'm looking at a transcript here, and I come up with a transcript, and the transcript, I'll just show it to you here. We failed to fight anti-Americanism in public education. Just randomly brought that up. It's like bing, 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 bing. All right, you guys with me now? I pray to God, I want you to share this. I don't care what the left-wing nuts say about me, because I'm coming at it. All right, Laura Ingram, talk.
$1 million budget. Laura, you've watched me over many years as an investigative reporter standing up to
A professor and reporter.
I'm also, yes, a mother in Fairfax County Public Schools, and now I'm investigating this ideological extremism that's infiltrating our public schools and indoctrinating our children. I've watched hours of these school board meetings, and it's horrifying what we're seeing. It's a big business, and I call it woke incorporated. It sells products under buzzwords like critical race theory, anti-racism pedagogy, cultural Marxism, implicit bias training, decolonizing syllabi. And this extremism is like a cult that's hijacking our return to school with this divisive agenda that pits people against each other in a race war.
Pits people against each other in a race war. That's what they're doing.
And I know you've looked at, in other areas, some of the Islamist infiltrations in schools, which we're not going to address tonight, but that's also been part of it. Cynthia, to Azra's
oh my,
point, though,
Akbar.
This is what Fairfax School Board member Abrar Omesh said at a recent meeting.
As a board here, being very bold and clear about where we stand, symbolically and hopefully following up with action, whether that's shaping narrative. Just think about what it's like to sit in a classroom, to sit through years of history, learning about, the incredible accomplishments and achievements of others who may have been oppressors to you.
Oppressors
Cynthia,
to you.
Why is the school board involved in, quote,
Founding fathers.
shaping narratives? What's going on here?
It's control, Laura. It's control. And the sad thing is,
This lady's a Christian, you could tell.
To this stuff, and I'm like the head blown emoji, because I know that I would never go for this at all, for my son, my nieces, for the many kids in my own family. And it makes me so passionate for other parents. What is it about these people that they think that parents and families
Stay with me, folks. Don't go offline now. Stick with it.
Parental choice and pick and choose our own schools and force these schools to have to compete, because I guarantee you more people would choose schools where their kids could go to school and be a kid. All of what they're trying to do, it's like, I hate to say it, but honestly, these people want to answer questions that kids aren't asking. And it's one big identity theft.
Identity theft. They're stealing your kid's identity.
A woman of God and a woman of faith.
Woman of faith, I knew it.
God gives us free choice, right? Why do we not have free choice over what's happening in our public schools? It's just, it makes me so angry. I could scream.
No. It is so enraging, Azra, and you've been on this from the beginning and watching these videos. I think a lot of parents, because they're so busy and they're just trying to manage their daily lives, they want to trust educators to educate.
Yeah.
They want to trust. It's out of a good spirit. But what is your message to them tonight about how
Like
they
intellectual
have to take back this
pedophiles
education?
and getting into your children's brain and molesting it.
You've got to be vigilant. You've got to watch these public school board meetings. You've got to pay attention to these newsletters and these emails that the principals and educators are sending. I mean, at my son's STEM school, Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology, mostly immigrant parents of color to the point of identity theft. And we get a letter from the white principal telling us that we need to check our privilege. So our privilege is families that have survived the Cultural Revolution, communism, poverty, colonialization. And they are lecturing us. And so to this point, why do parents get intimidated? They're trying to shame you. So don't get shamed.
You hear that?
For critical thinking.
She's being told to check her white privilege by a white person.
Then, because it's our kids' education that is the most important, not this radicalization.
Cynthia, you're speaking to this idea of choice,
God.
but right now.
I'm telling you. Thank God for you, because I know you get this. These people have hijacked. We've got to start to get this clear. Christians and pastors better get this clear. What's happening in America is a counterfeit awakening. Started on Pentecost Sunday with cities burning in the George Floyd incident. Counterfeit awakening. Counterfeit woke. And in a very real way, it's requiring a conversion where people have to take the knee. And it's the desecration of the old sacred in order to install the new deities. And that's why the images that are the old sacred, your flag, your founders, and it's a Pharisee spirit. It's very much like the legalism of the Pharisee or the Islamic fundamentalist, because it cannot tolerate imperfection. And in its crusade to eradicate unrighteousness, it operates in a spirit of hate and violence and witchcraft. Its arrogance and the deception of pride is so transparent. You got Thomas Friedman. I got these guys' books. I'll read them. Thomas Friedman, who is advising the Democratic Party to keep Joe Biden in the basement because the poor bumbling old man can't put a sentence together in public, and they gotta drag him over the finish line, but hide him from the people so nobody knows his mental state. So they're saying Trump, he will not debate Donald Trump unless Donald Trump reveals years of tax returns so that they can attack him on his finances. They won't debate Trump until he meets their condition. Fact-checking after he speaks on the platform to catch him in lies and revealing tax returns. What are they really doing? Well, they're trying to. They're gonna stuff the ballots. They're gonna try to steal the election every way they can. The devil has to get America out of the way. I think we've thrown off Satan's plan. Everything was perfect. Everything's perfect till God moved from desperate Christians praying, because it wasn't time for America to have its harbinger moment yet. I'll tell you something. It's not time now. As bad as it is, it's not time now, because now we're having an awakening. You know what the awakening is? It's called a rude awakening. And as bad as it gets, hate to say it, starting to go into churches, attack churches. Good. Real good. Because, you know, people are so gullible. If they would just tone it down now, well, I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to authorize out of my mouth what they need to do to win, because they're doing exactly what they need to do to lose. They're getting everybody woke. Only they're not getting woke with the left. They're getting woke with their brain. They're saying something's wrong with this America. I'm getting scared. What's happening to my country? Yeah, well, you ought to ask that, because it was in the school systems. It's in the school systems. You know why? Because Satan starts as a false teacher. If he can do the job as a false teacher, then he can get into your children's heads. If he can get them, he disciples. Satan's all about discipling culture. What are Christians all about? Revival and conversion and revival. No! We're supposed to have a commentary in life that is bigger than get born again or have a prophecy or get a healing. We're supposed to be able to talk about, how does kingdom economics work? How does kingdom psychology work? How does kingdom business and entrepreneurship work? How do kingdom relationships work? How do kingdom marriages? In other words, the Bible is relevant to all of life, and guess what? It doesn't even have to sound religious. You don't even have to quote the King James. You know, everything Jesus said basically wasn't, he might have quoted the scriptures, but most of his impact was explaining them in stories. We're supposed to be the modern storytellers. Anyway, he was the rabbi. My point is, he ministered as the supernatural rabbi. That's our calling, to go teach the nations. I'll look at Matthew. I can show it to you in the Greek and in the English. Go teach the nations. We're supposed to teach and remember when the angels came and gave them the prison break? I'm going to stop right now. When the angels came and gave a prison break to the disciples in the book of Acts, and the angels said, I love the scope of this commission. The angel sets the disciples free out of the jail and says, go speak all the words of this life. It's not go give them John 3:16 and make sure they say a sinner's prayer. It's speak all the words of this life. The Word of God covers all of life. It's so huge, it covers the next life also. We've been playing small. We've been playing small. We've been playing timid. Timid. I'm sorry to say it, because the shepherds are timid. Because they're afraid of you. They're afraid of the press. They're afraid of a protest in the parking lot. They're afraid of angry letters, people that won't give, won't tithe. And I think God's shaking up the church, because look, the church got shut down, and I'm half wondering if it's such a good idea to send the kids back to school. I know the parents got to get them back there, but I mean, they're going back to the indoctrination program, because you know the teachers unions, the left, the flipping left. It's like the devil has to get into everything for control. Satan is discipling America because the church isn't. Here's the secret. You don't got to do it as a raging Pentecostal like me. You can be covert. You can be ninja-like. You don't have to tell them. I mean, you could, I don't see Joseph tackling Pharaoh there after he interprets his dream and trying to force the guy to get circumcised. I mean, he was pretty, you know, he knew how to dress like an Egyptian and think like a Jew. You get what I mean? All right, well, imagine this is me without Ambien. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this now. I want you to share this. You know why? Because when you share this, in your own way, you're taking a step to be courageous. In your own way, you're saying, all right, the guy's a little loony, I admit, but he's saying something worth thinking about. The whole world is being held up by one guy in Washington who refuses to be conventional, the lone warrior, Donald Trump. Well, it's time we join him in the arena, don't you think? Don't wait for someone else to do it. It's going to be us. It's going to be us. And these ladies here, I like them. I like those ladies. I think I'm going to get one of them for an interview. That one there, clearly Pentecostal. That one there, she's got to be a ninja. Don't tell me she's not born again. This one here, smart as a whip. want her on my side. That's the kind of person. See, the liberals have like 90 of them to 10 of ours like this. But boy, when we deploy them, it's like Kelly Monroe Kohlberg. These people, they're the wrecking balls. We got to get a hold of both of them. People, come on. You got to work with me. Work with me. Oh, I'm getting myself all worked up. I don't know what to do. All right, how do I calm down, ladies? I did a survey on Facebook to see the demographics of my following. So, kind of emasculating moment, I realized that I'm primarily popular with a female demographic and only 8% men. What is it? Am I not a man's man? Is it the fact that my backdrop is festooned with hunting weapons and heads of dead animals? Is that what it takes? Well, I admit it. I am a bit of a, thespian. Okay. Well, anyway, Twitter's a little more balanced. I have a few more men. I got some. The funny thing is, I attract a lot of business owners, businessmen. But for some reason, that's why I'm saying, ladies, what do you do to decompress at the end of a stressful day? Should I have some chamomile tea? Okay. You're on your game at 2 o'clock in the morning. Women give birth to the next generation. Good point. My husband listens. Well, thank you. And you know why he listens? Because you make him. Go take a hot bath. Okay. I might do that. I might just do that. One time I got reprimanded by my wife because I was broadcasting on Periscope. And I had to go to a meeting. I remember I was in Colorado Springs at the time, and I was running late to the meeting. And I had to shave. And I set the camera down, and I was shaving. And my wife called me up. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, What? She said, "That was really inappropriate." I thought, it's a razor. Man stuff. Shave, razor. She goes, "Very seductive." I had no idea. See what I mean? I'm asleep at the switch when it comes to some of these things. All right. We're going to have to fight this public education. I'm telling you, I'm so serious about this. Of all the mountains, this is the most pernicious. This is the evil. So subtle. We're focused on the media. Of course, Hollywood. Of course. And then the big business funding this anarchy. The big millionaire, billionaire, liberal, crazy people that fund all the activists, Marxists. But it's the teachers. It reminds me of the scene with Don Corleone. Remember that scene? I'm going to end right here. Remember he's in the back of the car with Tom Hagen. It's after he has the meeting in New York with all the heads of the families. And Tom is saying, we're now going to work with Tatalia, and I'll tell him to keep the men clean that are handling the drugs. And Marlon Brando plays Don Corleone and says, "Barzini will know that without having to be asked." And Tom said, "No, you mean Tatalia?" He goes, "Tatalia's a pimp. But all along, I didn't know it was Barzini till this night." He finally figured out it was Barzini who was behind the hit on him. It's the education mountain behind the hit on America. They had to wait. They had to wait until they had a fresh crop that they could weaponize. Okay. Well, I got that out of my system. You going to share this? Come on, folks. You got to share it. You got to share it. Excuse me. Pardon me. I'm going to drink some of my essential water, which, by the way, has essential oil peppermint.
You ever run into these essential oil people? You can smell them a mile away. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something that's it works with COVID, but the essential oils, I'm sure they have someone's coming up with it. But I put peppermint in my water because people told me you can drink the essential oils. Well, not all of them, but some. I drink the peppermint in it. I put a drop or two of peppermint in. All right, maybe that's what hit me tonight. It's the peppermint. All right, did you share it? I'm not leaving till you share, okay? This is just the way it is. Don't you dare think about turning me off. Don't even think about turning me off. Have I ever done that to you? Have I ever turned you off? When you're making a point. Okay, I'm going to go because I'm tired of the left radicalizing your kids. I'm tired of the left radicalizing your kids. I love you. Talk to you guys later. Hey, if you liked this video today, you could help me out by leaving some comments. And, you could vote up this video. Just give me a like sign and click on like so that I know if this is working for you. And also share it with your friends because our entire movement is based upon people sharing ideas with other people. And if you want to be regularly notified about these broadcasts, then you want to subscribe so that you'll be able to get the latest material as soon as it comes out.